Hi, I'm here at the Eastport Art Center at our Steinway Grand, our old Steinway Grand. It was built actually in 1887, which coincidentally happens to be the same year that the entire downtown of Eastport was rebuilt after its last great fire. I'm going to play a piano rag today, and piano rags are almost that old. The first published one, called the Maple Leaf Rag by Scott Joplin, was published in 1898. The rag, people are not quite sure why it's called ragtime. One theory that appeals to me is that there was a term ragged music, also called syncopation, which refers to music that's off the beat. So like this is a beat. Da 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 da. So there's a kind of a struggle with the beat. Sometimes the music is on the beat, sometimes it's off, and that struggle, if you want to call it that, is part of the nature of the music. You might have noticed the tempo at which I sang that. This is the entertainer, of course, Scott Joplin, known from movies and everywhere. Might be quite a bit slower than what you're used to. How about this? Very often heard at that tempo, and that kind of tempo inflation, one might almost call it, was present very early on. In fact, Joplin, with almost all his rags subsequent to the Maple Leaf, wrote a little squib at the top of the sheet music that said, "Do not play this piece too fast. Ragtime should never be played fast." So that was his view, and I confess that I like it too. The rag I'm going to play today is one that I wrote. It's called Lupin Rag, and it was written in 2004, dedicated to the memory of my good friend Elliot Fishbein. And it's really very much according to the Joplin model. First of all, the ragged rhythm all the time, of course, and there's a 16 measure section, which is repeated, just like jazz and blues standard, a 16 bar pattern, and then that's repeated. Then there's a new one and another one, and it's always in these 16 bar patterns. Where my rag may sound a little different than the Joplin model, for example, or even the Graceful Ghost, which I recorded earlier here, is that I use chords and sounds which are a little bit more dissonant. In other words, instead of something like this, it'll be something like maybe this, or I'll play a little section of my rag here. You get the idea. So some musicians call that kind of dissonance a spice, so you might think of this being as somewhat spicier music. I sent a copy of it to my cousin, a good amateur pianist who has an interest in rag, and she wrote back, she said, I really like the spirit of the piece, but it's so frightfully dissonant. And of course I responded, no, it's marvelously dissonant. So I guess that question is a little bit in the ear of the beholder. So let's go.